18% female representation in FM now. It's gone a bit quiet, but there's still some work to do. 18% isn't a high number. Interestingly though, in the FM field or in property related fields, of that 18%, 25% are in leadership positions. And whilst that number has increased, it was 2% in 2019, 38% of females have some level of, gender deprioritisation on site. 50% of sites don't have female toilets or sanitary areas, female change rooms. So I think the question is, how do we change that?
Welcome to another episode of the Let's Talk Facilities podcast.
The podcast where we talk about the insights, innovation and impact of the FM industry. My name's Aaron.
And I'm Ben.
And today on the podcast we have Kristy Megaw. She's the Senior Director of Client Partnerships at Cushman Wakefield and has developed an incredible career over her time in the FM industry.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about women in FM.
Leadership,
career development,
scaling FM. Whenever you've moved from maybe 1-2 sites to managing hundreds or even thousands of sites, what that scale and the difference is. It's all in this episode. Really great episode. You're going to love it.
Looking for the buyer, then just be open to change.
It feels so good to spread my wings.
I actually had to learn to do it because
this is a question to avenge every...
My brother had mushrooms growing in his car.
Spreadsheet is like gold.
Water started pouring on me.
It's such a rewarding career. Drag them down. We love you all of our customers.
Welcome to the podcast, Kristy.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
So good to have you in the room. We met through the FMA. We're both on the Vic committee.
Yes.
Tell me about how you got involved in the FMA, because I think people who are listening often feel isolated and alone. And the one thing I've loved about the FMA is that it's a community.
Absolutely.
How did you first get involved there?
Well, I'd been to a number of FMA events for a long time, been a member for a while and got to know some of the wonderful people who are on the committee. And, I think it's difficult to find like-minded people sometimes when it comes to facilities. So, the community is the right word for it, without a doubt, creating those relationships with the guys and really I think there's a level of friendship as well as, professionalism, leadership, advice. It's just it's a nice environment. Really proud to be on it. I think this is my second term now, so I clearly like it.
Yeah, nice. And they clearly like you to let you keep going.
Well, I'm surprised by that. But
I'm not. You've had a pretty impressive career. Like the accounts that you look after and have looked after in the past, they're really, really strong accounts. I would like to know what the difference is. Like, what's the difference in scale? Like, how do you go from being an FM who manages one or two levels in a corporate office to being someone who manages a huge portfolio of 1,000 sites that are so diverse and different? Like, they're not all just offices. What's the difference? How do you go about it?
A very good question. It is each client, each account, very unique. Each building, very unique. And I think there is just a different approach depending on the scale. But I think at the end of the day, you're looking for, customer service, you're looking for client satisfaction. So you do approach some things the same, but other things differently. And I think on the larger accounts, some of the challenges come very much from team perspective. You've got multiple employees and you're looking after multiple streams. So everything from facilities management through to project management, workplace services, sustainability. It's quite broad in some of the larger relationships that we have. And some of the smaller relationships certainly present their own challenges because they're just as important and just as challenging. So I think, if you've got the right people and you've got the ability to lean on, shared services, etc., in your organisation, those specialty fields and partnership with them, I think that makes the difference. Geographically, sometimes hard to manage teams, COVID in particular, exceptionally difficult.
Because you've been on APAC accounts, not just Australia, but on Asia Pacific.
I think that the biggest challenge, during the COVID period, obviously, was different states, different lockdowns, different rules.
And understanding all of that.
And also keeping on top and keeping teams motivated. And I think the interesting thing, and it certainly changed my leadership style on a large account during COVID, because all of a sudden you're not your 9 to 5. You're inviting people into your homes. So you get to know their partners sometimes and their dogs and their kids, especially their kids. And I think that was a big learning point for me because you're realising that your team and the culture you're creating and the community you're creating, within your 60-something employees, that's so important. And you get to know more about people, and I think people have brought that back.
I wasn't in the facilities space whenever COVID happened, so this might be a really ignorant question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. When everyone was in lockdown and in their homes, are you almost a facility manager of everyone's homes? Because there's some level of work health safety, right? Because I remember my workplace that I was working for sent us all sit-stand desks, and they kitted us out because they felt responsible.
Correct.
Was that a requirement? Did you feel like you were now managing
organisations, some of our clients for sure, ergonomic chairs, ergonomic desks, that was a large focus, and organising collection of those was interesting in a 5K radius. When we had the 5K radius restrictions in Melbourne, that was quite challenging. But yeah, absolutely. A lot of organisations really care about their people, and we didn't know how long it would last. Teams and teamsing and making sure everyone's comfortable. I know for my team, we did we had new people come on during that period, and we would do sort of murder mystery type things online together, having a few drinks at the desk, just to try and keep that relationship and focus.
Interesting. It sounds like on those larger accounts, it's more about leadership and people management than actually facility management.
In my role, it was. But I was a FM on a large account as well at the start of my career. And I think the challenge there was being able to ensure that you provide the right level of service to your stakeholders, because you might have 200 stakeholders if you've got 200 sites within your remit. So it's about understanding them, tailoring your approach. I've had clients that prefer not to hear from me as an FM. They're like, I'll call you if something goes wrong, which seems to be the FM thing.
Yes.
And clients that really loved, a call and a chat. In particular, the regional areas. I've had a number of carrot cakes made when I'd go and do site tours in some of the regional.
That's one of my favourite desserts.
Just no mushroom pies.
Is it that sort of podcast?
We're getting there. We're just waiting for some conspiracy to happen in the FM industry, and we're ready to go.
I don't know. Suspicious. But yeah,
That was left of centre.
That's great. But yeah, I think client relationship is really important, and I think from an FM perspective, it's not just about client relationships and client satisfaction, it's vendor.
Yeah.
So your procurement process becomes really important. Creating relationships with local trades programs become important. I think there's huge opportunity there for other organisations as well to really promote local trades, and it's certainly something that I talk to my clients about, because I think those relationships and then response periods are important when it comes to looking after very geographically diverse portfolios.
We at Premrest, we look after sites all around the country. Like in the middle of nowhere, we've got some sites. And for anything outside of our metro areas where we've got staff, we engage local trades because we think it's the right thing to do. But it's also, I think, a really good story that the FMs get to tell. Like, we're engaging local businesses on the ground. Like, who wants us driving 5 hours, paying a staff member to drive 5 hours out to Cobar to clean the floors of a branch of some bank or some retail site? Like, we don't need to. What we've done is we've worked really hard to grow our subcontractor network so that an FM who does manage 1,000 sites can trust us to look after that for them, but know that we are going to engage local. We're not just going to try and self-source and in-source everything ourselves.
Yeah, and I think, it comes for efficiency as well. It ties into, the whole supply chain conversation around DEI, diversity of supply chain, Indigenous business.
Yeah.
There's huge opportunities in that realm, female-owned businesses as well. So I think that's certainly an important piece in any of your accounts, any of your clients. It's certainly something that we like to work with them on.
Yeah. You mentioned before the word leadership came up before, and you said that was one of the differences with being a sole FM on a team to being now managing 1,000 sites or hundreds of sites. And that word leadership comes up a lot. But what does it mean when push comes to shove? What do you mean when you say the difference is leadership? Like, what are you doing?
It's about, like I said, large team scale and even small team scale. I think leadership comes from, it is hugely layered. And I think there is a certain accountability a leader has for their people when it comes to some of the larger scale. And you've got to trust your people. If you don't trust your people, then your success just isn't there. And I think the interesting thing, and I know you've had people on the podcast speak about it before, is we are a people business.
Facilities are for people.
Absolutely. And we curate environments. So it is about people and people leadership and having the right people. And I think one of the things we're sort of seeing in FM, and it's a bit of an older trend now, but we are seeing sort of that diversification of FM in general. So that sort of trades, engineering type background, servicing boilers and things like that. And then in particular in what I do is you're sort of seeing a lot more of that client-facing customer service piece. And I find that interesting, and I also find it interesting in leading to different types of people and tailoring your approach, because they're very different skill sets and very different requirements. So everything from, hiring to interviewing to how you write the job ad to then coaching them the way through and introducing them into the team is slightly unique depending on the person. But I think leadership overall, that's the part of my job I absolutely love. I've loved bringing people into organisations and watching them grow. I think leadership isn't just the team you hire, isn't just the team that in the org chart sits under you. It's also your vendors. It's also sometimes your client stakeholders as well, providing leadership and guidance. So I think when we think about leadership, we need to think about it broadly and openly. And I also think, my opinion, but I also think we shouldn't shy away or be afraid to bring people into an organisation that may not have the traditional skill set that you would think. I call that skill versus will. So if you think about, certain jobs require a large amount of skill set, a large amount of qualification, but then certain jobs, people who may not have the background or industry, and I talk a lot about that as a customer service piece in facilities coordination or management, bringing them in and giving them the opportunity to grow, and they've got that will and that hunger and that proactiveness. And that's where I've seen some of my biggest successes. And that's
they want
great.
to.
They want it.
They want to.
Because you can't teach that. You can't teach someone to want to do something or to fit the culture, but you can teach skills.
Yeah, they could have all the skills in the world, but if they don't want to be there,
Absolutely. And I think leaders, that's such an important piece for leaders. So between that and the creation of community, FM is a hard job. I think that's no surprise to anyone that would be listening to this. It's 24/7. With high-profile clients, it's encroaching on your personal life. I've had calls on birthdays and Christmases and things like that over the something years I've been in the industry.
We'll redact it, just like the Epstein files. It's redacted. It's out. It's cut.
The entire podcast will just be beat.
A big black line.
But I think, sorry, you got me there.
You didn't think when you walked in here the Epstein files would come up.
I'll be honest, the last person on my mind. So I think that, I think when we talk about leadership, it's important, and I will never forget the call I got New Year's Eve, 11:30 p.m. when I was 3 years into being an FM, because a site was on fire.
Oh, wow.
And I spent New Year's, may or may not have been intoxicated, and spent New Year's Eve calling vendors and trying to get someone there.
Couldn't the fire started an hour earlier?
So it does really encourage.
Yeah.
So you got to be passionate about it, and you got to be passionate about delivery and really problem solving.
Yeah.
I think making sure your people know you've been there.
Yes.
Making sure your people know that you're a person. I think, being able to bring everyone in, because no matter what leadership style you're in, you're not too big to pick up a call from a vendor. You're not too big to make sure a toilet gets unblocked.
Yeah.
No.
So I think that's being able to relate to a wider team, especially a larger team, and represent that and drive that down is important.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's important.
That leadership is getting in there and getting your hands dirty sometimes. And
It's the whole do as I
do.
Yeah.
Yes, not as I say. Yeah. I
was about to start
only just on this last weekend had a phone call from a person who I know, like we've become friends through the industry, but he called me. He's like, I know this isn't what you do. You look after the cleaning side of the business, but one of my sites has had a flood and I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, I can help. Let me make some calls. We got it sorted for them. But yeah, it was like Sunday afternoon. I didn't want to be thinking about that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, but
I think that's interesting. That comes down to sort of client relationship, and that's such an important part of what we do. And what do you sometimes there's a level of scope creep, and you want to stay within those lines, but it's about creating that trust and relationship. Yeah. They got a problem, they're going to come to you. You're going to try and help them out and solve it. That's what creates great relationship.
And you're not only leading your team of FMs at the scale that you're working at now, you're leading the client at the same time, because they don't know. They don't know the industry. You've been doing FM for so long that you've got your Rolodex of suppliers that will just get in and fix it, get in and do stuff for you that you trust.
Absolutely.
And the client doesn't have that, so you're sort of leading them. But I'm assuming that some clients just are very stern, like they know what they think they know what they want. How do you go with that?
Yeah, it's certainly part of that relationship piece. And I think that, again, it comes down to the leadership style. So each client you deal with potentially in a different way, each have different motivations, different values, different strategic directions that they're trying to get at. No, this is a political answer. But I think, there's certainly some clients that have different pressure points, and that become quite stressful, in particular public-facing or people-facing.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge is to ensure that you can provide a balanced, calm approach, because sometimes if you don't understand property, you don't understand FM, you see a HVAC unit leaking and you might think the whole site's going down, like the Titanic. But the reality is it's just something blocked, and it can be fixed within half an hour. So it's just about understanding, their what they are looking for, and then talking them down sometimes off the ledge, and help guiding them through and just
it's
stressless.
I love the book that Simon Sinek wrote, Start With Why. Like that whole philosophy of people once they understand the why, they've got it. So if you can go, okay, it's a blockage. We can get this fixed in half an hour, but they're thinking it's going to take days and their
Yeah.
site's going to be shut down. Like they're going to be panicking,
Yeah,
right?
it's all about lost time.
Yeah.
And that's important when you're running a business,
Yeah.
in particular cash through the door. So every client, I've got a few clients, so every client has its own motivation, and I must say retail is the highest pressure.
Of course, because
probably
if they're
that
not open,
if they're not
they're making
open, that's
money.
an issue, and I think just sort of going on from that, I think that comes down to that vendor piece being part of your team as well, because, my success is theirs and vice versa, and you're wanting to problem solve that together.
Yeah.
So if you've got a vendor that can quickly respond, whether it be regional or you've created that relationship and they feel like they're part of your team, you're going to get the best outcome for your client.
Well, we say it all the time to our team that our why is making the facility managers we work with the heroes.
Yeah.
Like we would rather their clients go, gee, you're amazing. And they didn't even know that we exist because we exist to serve the FM and the FM serves their clients. So as long as we've made
it's a win for
it's a
us
win for
and it's a
everyone.
win.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that trust relationship that we have is always as a vendor with the FM because they're then building trust with their clients.
So vital.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I've ever told you this actually. Here we go.
Let's.
Expose. No, but I've got a friend outside of work who works for you, was in your team for ages and loves you and thinks you're an amazing leader.
I might come here every week just to get
something.
confidence.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
And I remember ages and ages ago we were talking with her about something. We were asking her some questions about how things ran. And she's like, oh, my boss is incredible. And to this day, I think about that whenever I see you. I'm sort of
that's
we're on the
lovely.
topic of leadership.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You don't see many women in a power suit, by the way, that looks really great.
No shirt. but
This
that's
high
okay.
up in FM world.
It's interesting. The
It's
stats,
getting more so.
Yeah, 18% female representation in FM now. It's gone a bit quiet. I think female representation was really focused on for a long time, and now sort of there's a bit more of a broader inclusion piece, which I think is fantastic. But there's still some work to do. 18% isn't a high number. Interestingly, though, in the FM field or in property-related fields, of that 18%, 25% are in leadership positions. So it's a higher balance. And why that is, I don't know. But it's certainly, you don't see many female facility managers' careers progress into leadership positions because of the lack of female facility managers.
Yeah. How's that journey been for you?
It's been a long one. I didn't, like everyone, you never expect to be an FM.
You just fell into it one day. Hey?
That's it. You just sort of end up there.
What were you doing before you fell into it?
I was,
How did you unexpectedly become one?
Yeah, I studied, I worked in radio, actually.
Oh, there you go.
So, yeah, that was...
Welcome home.
Yeah, thank you.
You're not the person who prank called the Queen.
I might...
No
Can we
longer working.
redact that? So I did some work in radio, studied professional communications.
That's why you're so good at this. You're
Yeah.
natural.
Oh, thank you. English literature at uni. Came out of uni, applied for a lot of jobs with publishers and bits and pieces like that, and ended up taking a job as a business analyst. I don't know.
That is the most boring job in the world.
And completely unrelated to my field. In fact,
All the
I
business
had,
analysts listening, it's not. I respect
No
you.
one's listening. It's a business analyst.
AI does it now. It's fine.
Yes.
It's not wrong.
No, okay. Yeah.
So I think, I fell into it that way. Worked for a large retailer in Adelaide for a while. Ended up progressing through that out of the business analyst world into the property world.
And then left Australia's largest nursing home to come to Melbourne.
That's right. Hey,
No, I love Adelaide. We love Adelaide.
Adelaide's great. Hi to my Adelaide family. But yeah, I came out of that, and then from there was doing quite a bit of travel, took a step back, and got hired by my current employer, Cushman Wakefield, on the account that I ended up being a senior account director on. So worked my way through
awesome.
that. So yeah, it was literally FM to senior leadership.
Which means you were good at your job, right? To just keep climbing until you were the senior.
I don't know. I think it comes down to skill versus will as well.
You wanted to be there.
I wanted it.
You
yeah.
wanted it.
And
You were hungry.
I was hungry.
Give me that.
Well, they actually moved me to Melbourne, and that's sort of when my career, I feel like, really got more exciting and more diverse. And I learnt a lot in Melbourne, very different approach to facilities management in particular, because a lot of your head offices are here and your large corporates. And so it was really different, and I really enjoyed it. But that's how, I ended up in facilities. Well, and then in whatever else I've done.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And I know that you are quite passionate about seeing more women involved in FM, but also in trades. Like that whole DEI space is something that you
hugely
passionate.
And I'm really proud of the fact that we many years ago now developed a great grassroots DEI platform at Cushman and Wakefield, and grew that. Now we've got employee resource groups that are in place, and I'm just so pleased to see where that's gone, and to also see the change in the property industry in general with that inclusive piece, because it wasn't there. When I started, it wasn't there. And I'm excited by that. That's the thing that motivates me. That's the thing that motivates me in leadership as well, being able to ensure that inclusivity is there. Excited about that. I think the area that I'd really like to focus in a bit more is the trades area. 4% of tradespeople are female accredited. And whilst that number has increased, it was 2% in 2019, so it's certainly increased a lot. It has. But that's a long time for it to double.
7 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that good math? I don't know. 6 years?
Yeah, ish. So I think that there's an area there for DEI to certainly have a look at. And I think it's interesting that some of the reasons that females aren't attracted to those areas are simple things and horror stories from other female tradies.
Interesting.
And that's concerning. 38% of females have felt some level of, gender deprioritisation on site, and that's concerning. I know, speaking from experience and talking to female tradespeople, 50% of sites don't have female toilets or sanitary areas.
Really?
Female change rooms. It's in particular mining and construction.
Yes,
a big problem. So I think the question is to our industry, because we work so closely with trades, is how do we change that? Because we can have an active role in doing that instead of watching it.
Yeah.
How do we help change that with our vendors?
Yeah, and so that obviously impacts someone wanting to get into it when they're, I guess, more mature, those type of things. But does it also start from like high school, where sort of shaping what people might want to do once they finish school? Is there like an education piece there? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. There is. It's certainly gotten better over the last 5 years. So apprenticeship selling, if you like, in high schools, career days, TAFE in particular.
Yeah.
It's there. Does it have a female lens? Do you have a lot of females attending those and talking to other females about those opportunities? Certainly a lot more than there used to be. Yeah. I think if you look at now, I love a percentage. You'll know, I just talk in percentages, but 25% of current apprentices are female, so it's looking up. It's looking really good. Yeah.
That's really
I feel
interesting.
Like that's quite high.
Like in trades specifically?
Trades, yeah. And generalisation.
Because like apprenticeships, you can be a hairdressing apprenticeship and I'd expect that would be like 90% women, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly. And the thing is that just because they do the apprenticeship, that doesn't result in an outcome.
Yes.
But it is currently, 25%.
I'd imagine there's like multiple factors with the women in trades piece. Like, because we've come from a very patriarchal society where gender roles were huge. And so you just didn't have women on job sites. Like you didn't have women picking up tools. Like that was a man's job.
I love that you've said that.
15 years ago. Okay,
And-
speak to that. And then I'll say my other thought.
Sorry.
No, it's good.
But I love that you said that because you're right. And it's subconscious bias.
Yeah, I didn't think about it until you just mentioned it. I was like, oh, that's probably a reason.
It is. And I think you would, in very traditional homes, I think it's unusual for dad to be a builder or an electrician or a plumber and encourage his daughter to do the same.
Yeah.
I know I was the daughter of a tradesperson and I certainly wasn't encouraged. So I think, and that's purely because, that just wasn't the trajectory that my parents wanted. But I think you're right. I think the traditional gender norms play a huge part.
I think my parents would have loved it if I was a trainee. May have avoided some other things in my life. So that's one thing, the gender norms in society, and which is slowly changing and shifting, I think, as a cultural piece. Like I don't think we are as far gone as we were. The other piece I would say is that from the job sites I've been on, like I've got a friend who's a project manager and I visited his sites years ago and I remember seeing like titty calendars on the wall.
Yeah.
Or can you say titty calendar on there?
You just did, so.
Redacted. But like it just didn't feel like a very safe space
Correct.
for women to want to walk into.
I reckon it depends on the type of construction site it is.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
it would be very different doing like a civil construction site versus like a refit or a refurb site.
Of a building or an existing tenancy
I
or
think
something.
you're going to get that type of culture on a refurb site.
You'd hope.
I
You'd hope you wouldn't get it anywhere.
Well,
You would,
of course, but
Yeah, and there is a lot of focus on this. So some of the larger construction companies you see have a very, very solid focus.
yeah.
I think that is absolutely an issue, and I think that's absolutely an issue in maybe not as large CBDs as Melbourne in particular, who don't necessarily have that focus. But I think also the other piece to that comes to we can't have an expectation of advertising, female apprentices come in, it's going to be great, because of some of those gender issues begin in TAFE. So if you've got one female in the classroom with 30 guys, just doesn't necessarily, and you'll end up seeing that, females will end up regressing and not owning their femininity and trying to align with the masculinity. That's not what we want. We want people to be authentic and to be themselves. So I think there's good opportunity in that space for sure.
It's also just what you see in movies and media, right? Like I think anytime I've seen tradespeople represented in movies, like the guys working on the streets and a pretty lady walks past and I go, woo, come on, show us it. Like
You've done that before.
so, no, he hasn't. I've never done that to a woman. But like if I was a young woman and I'm watching those movies, I'm like, there's no way I'd want to work with those pigs. Like, right?
Yeah,
So I think, we can get better at the way we, number one, fix that issue, but then number two, the way we're telling that story. It's the same as the whole Peppa Pig projects dad as dumb, and not all dads are dumb, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
some.
Inclusive.
Yes. So do you see, like you love numbers, as you said before, the statistics. Are we seeing, like, do you see that doubling again, like in a shorter period of time? Like, do you think that number is going to double in the next 3 years, let's say? Or is it slowed?
I hope so. I think that comes to a number of different things. I think industry bodies have a huge part to play. I'd love to see, more tradeswomen represented at International Women's Day activities or things like that. I think that's hugely important. The visibility is important. And I also think large organisations have a responsibility, and in particular, I think in the procurement space, when you look at inclusivity and inclusion, when you go to market, you can talk about preference. And when you're reviewing responses, there are big organisations and small organisations out there who are doing an amazing job, and some are nearly at 50-50.
Wow.
Tradespeople.
Okay.
And that's the focus, the development, the mentorship, and going out to schools and TAFEs and apprentices. And it's also, funny enough, how you write your job ad.
Yeah.
It's got to be very inclusive. And I think that goes for the FM industry as well. So I think there's a number of different things, levers that can be pulled in order to increase that, but it's got to happen.
What's something, now I'm just asking you out of curiosity, like we've got job ads up trying to get more floor cleaners.
Yeah.
What's something I could do like today on my job ad that would increase the chances of more women applying?
Talk about flexibility and inclusive environments.
Yeah.
That's easy to do.
It
We can
is.
do that. I'll do it today. I think it already does. don't hold me to that, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'll go read it now.
No, don't. Don't read it. Don't until I change it, please. No, I think it's pretty good. I love that. So we have a lot of stuff going on at the FMA. I know that you're a big part of the FMA. Let's talk a little bit about that for a little bit.
Sure.
Like, because they're very involved in pushing some of these things out into the industry. What have you seen come from the FMA in your time being involved?
I've been lucky enough to see a huge change in the type of organisations that are represented at events, and also the people that have come into the committee, yourself included. I think I mean, we talk about youth, but
You're now my best friend.
but I
We're
think
probably
about
the same age.
But I think importantly, and I think it's another important question, is how do we attract a different audience to FM or a younger audience, or that succession piece, because that's also a challenge. And I think we're sort of getting to that time now where AI is becoming, quite informative. And you certainly, the generations coming up are very strategically driven. They're very much outcome-based. They want to make a difference in the world. They care about past, so that heritage building things is becoming more prevalent. And I think there's a number of different things we can do to attract people like that, not only to the FMA and talk about strategic direction, outcome-based, but also to FM community widely and bring people into those positions. So I think there's a huge amount of work being done by the FMA to help encourage that, and I know it's certainly a focus for them this year. But I also think, it for a wider industry piece, it's something that can certainly be focused on, is how do we bring young people in, because long line of FMs are getting older, and not as many FMs are coming in, and FM is sexy.
There seems to be a succession problem.
There is a bit of a succession problem. I think it's lack of understanding. I actually query, is the word FM or facilities manager still the right word? And you'll see a lot of organisations using building manager, or my favourite is workplace curator or workplace experience.
That's my favourite title. Whenever I see someone has that title, I'm like, they're going to be easy to work with.
Yeah. They'll be very receptive to innovation.
Yes.
But I think it certainly is. And I think it's interesting because a lot of times you'll say I'm an FM and people don't know what that is. And I was watching the Grammys the other night because it was great.
Yeah.
Watching the Grammys the other
Trump
night.
didn't think so.
No.
He said it was the worst show he's ever seen.
Probably also.
and I quote, it was the worst.
Probably also hated the Super Bowl. But,
Didn't understand a word he said.
but I was watching the Grammys and I was thinking about it from an FM context. You sort of go,
Yes.
that as an
interesting.
FM is intense because you've got traffic management with limos coming and going. You've got, if you like, curation of environment with dressing rooms and green rooms. And I can imagine some of those people would be more demanding than certain executives.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. And then you've got ensuring that you've got vendors on call or vendors there to fix anything that could happen.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge amount of stuff that goes on
Yeah,
behind
the
that.
hospitality piece.
Exactly. It's just a whole piece. And I think that's sexy. And
Yeah.
then
That's true, yeah.
probably not as sexy, but I was watching the Australian Open and on the tennis net, one of the lights, I don't know if you saw that game, but one of the lights kept going on and off or staying on.
I didn't watch one game, to be honest. Not a sporty guy.
Really? So the light kept on and it was really distracting for the players. And they halted play, the umpire halted play.
wow.
And you had all these people over, like the umpire, the player, the ball girls, all over having a look at this light. And the camera zoomed in and you've got gaffer tape and wires. And the commentators, were like, can't someone just pull it out of the PowerPoint? Like, just unplug the thing. And I'm like, that poor FM. I mean,
Yes.
that's a high pressure point, or the electrician as well. So I think it can be really public facing. It's not just, sitting managing a floor in the basement of, an office.
No.
It can be sexy and inviting, and I don't think we
Yes.
sell it enough.
No, and that's one thing I've learned in the space of the last few years of being in the FM industry is seeing how diverse. Like, I mean, we get to go into some pretty incredible spaces.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like one day I'm in the aquarium and the next day I'm in a casino and the next day I'm in the tallest tower in Sydney with the amazing view of the harbour, right? Like, and you've got all of this that the FM world, they're managing. Every single day,
Absolutely.
there's someone behind making sure that every single building and every single facility operates and runs.
Exceptionally important role,
Yeah.
exceptionally. And I think the other piece that, from a succession perspective as well, is there's pathways within FM. And it's also a launching pad for a lot of people. I've had people, work on account with me who are FMs and they've, gone into sustainability or they've gone into project management and their careers have taken off. So I think whilst we want to keep people in FM, I think to attract a wider range of people to FM, in particular youth, there's also that conversation about where can it take me?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Very interesting. In your time,
My long aged time.
have you had a horror story? And this is a question I want to ask more in this season. It's like, we were just talking about it before.
Yeah.
Like one of the owners of our company was trapped in a lift that started filling up with water.
He thought
in
he
it.
was gonna
He thought he was going to
drown in a
drown
lift.
in this lift.
Oh.
And he was there to deal with flood issues. So, like, he probably should never have got in the lift.
No, it was disconnected.
It wasn't connected. But yeah, like, have you had a horror story? Just like, oh my goodness, there was this one time I shat my pants because I couldn't get out.
Well, I must admit I haven't done that yet. But
I
I'm
didn't
trying
prepare
to,
you for this question. I'm
you
sorry.
didn't. And also I've got some horror stories, but some
Yeah,
I'm
you-
not sure
yeah.
appropriate.
Yes.
I think one of the horror stories that come to mind probably sits in that FM workplace creation place. Large corporate building, large client, beautiful building, new building, and there was a person who had a problem with the organisation, and much to our cleaners' dismay, decided to take that out in the bathroom. Using something that came out of their body. But it wasn't just once. It was continuous, different times
wow.
of the day for a month.
And how do you figure out
And you
who's
had to
doing
piece
that?
it together.
Yeah, there was a.
See, the FM industry is fun. You're also a detective.
I don't know if that was fun.
You're a detective.
Well, yeah, for the detective part's fun.
Trying to figure out who the fuck is doing this. Hey, explicit +18 on Spotify.
Honestly, it's something we spoke about for a really long time
Wow.
afterwards.
Yeah.
And there were names for it, and I won't share. But yeah,
If I ever get disgruntled, that's how I'm going out.
is that a warning?
They'll see it on the walls.
Yeah, it was very clearly on the walls. So that was one.
wow.
That was one piece. Not sure if should have shared that on a podcast, but that's fine.
We don't know where it was, who it was. That's fine.
Yeah.
We can chop it.
But the other piece, probably maybe not so much a horror story, but a really interesting story, was dealing with a protest where protesters actually broke through some doors and flooded the building and tried to gain access. And the facility managers were all in the building. I was in the building.
Terrifying.
And yeah, not only trying to close the building down quickly, work with security, etc., ensure you account for all your subcontractors and vendors in a very short period of time, but also from my perspective, ensuring your team's safe as well.
Yeah,
wow.
So that, a horror story, but not so much a disgusting horror story, a cleaner horror
Well, it's still
story.
a horror story, yeah. Wow. And on the flip side, favourite moment in your time as an FM?
Probably not FM specific, so to say, but my favourite moment would be seeing how far diversity and inclusion's come in the industry, being able to represent female FMs in conversations like this one, and just seeing some of the partnership organisations that people are working with, like Job Support. We've worked with them. We've got a number of job support employees in a number of our offices. We've also been lucky enough to get other clients to bring in job support employees, and that's just been exceptionally rewarding. And I'm really proud to see where that's come. I'm proud to see gender neutral toilets being put in place. It's holistic. My favourite part has been watching the industry grow in that way. I'm super proud to watch that.
I love that.
That's cool.
Thank you so much for coming on to the Let's Talk
Thank you so much
Facilities.
for having me.
Of course.
Long time listener, big fan.
First
First time caller.
Love it. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
been a
both.
pleasure.
This is great. Thank you.